so happy we alive.
Good evening and welcome to Louisville Late Night. This evening we're at Papa John Cardinal Stadium where former First Lady Rosalynn Carter is about to address the community of Louisville concerning mental health and her recent trip to Cuba. Let's listen in and see what Mrs. Carter has to say. Rosalynn, I'm really pleased to have with us here Rosalynn Carter, and this is her new book, Helping Someone with Mental Illness. Rosalynn, would you tell us the single most important thing to take home with this book?
With my book, the single most important message is that so many people suffer from mental illnesses, and they could all be helped because we know so much about the brain now. And mental illnesses can be diagnosed, they can be treated, and the overwhelming majority of people can lead normal lives, living at home, working, going to school, and I want everybody to know that. So the stigma will go away.
You're an outspoken Stigma fighter.
Thank you.
Right. Thank you.
Ma'am.
So here we are at Papa John's Stadium and the Brown and Williamson Club. It's really been an honor to be here with Rosalynn Carter this evening, and you can see we've had a big crowd, and it's been a great day for Louisville and a great day for America. All right, there she goes.
I was really pleased that I could be here because I wanted to come and congratulate you on House Bill 843. I like your bottoms-up approach and your CIT program, and especially full parity. I have worked on parity so far, and I'm excited about what you've done. Many states have adopted parity programs, but most are very narrow, and we need a program, a law at the national level that calls for full parity in insurance. Then all of the states will have the kind of parity that you have here. And I have worked very hard for parity. All illnesses need to be covered by insurance. And I don't like the distinction between mental and physical because they're all biological. There should be no distinction whatsoever. If you're sick and you should be able to get care. I think last year was one of the most frustrating times of my life when we had a bill passed in the Senate of full parity. We had 248 votes for the House and couldn't get it out of committee. I was so upset I called everybody. I worked closely with Paul Wellstone and Pete Domenici, and I called everybody they told me to call. And finally the chairman of the House committee said, Ms. Carter, the only way you're going to get it is to call the president. So I called the president. And this was the 1st of December. And I said, Mr. President, we really need this parity bill, and they told me you're the only one who could get it out of committee. He said, well, I haven't thought much about that lately, much about parity. Well, after all, it was not too long after September 11th, and he was busy. But I'm really worried that the bill is going to be watered down this year. I've just got my fingers crossed, and I work closely with the senators and just hoping so much that we can get a good bill. The president said that he favored parity. But I hope if we get one, it's better than the Texas bill. Well, I bring greetings from my husband. I left him at home. This is our week at the Carter Center. We schedule 1 week a month, a year ahead of time, to be at the Carter Center to do operations and management and talk with our fellows to see what's going on. And we try to crowd in everything that we need to do in Atlanta. Because we live about a 3-hour drive south of Atlanta. We try to crowd in everything, but it doesn't work. We still have to go back more. Tomorrow at the Carter Center, we're having our Georgia Forum. We have a National Mental Health Symposium and a Georgia Forum, Mental Health Forum every year. And our program tomorrow is on suicide prevention. And Georgia is actually the state is using our forum to introduce the Georgia Suicide Prevention Program. So I'm excited about that. We have three of our children are in the Atlanta area, so I really don't mind going back to Atlanta often. And besides, Amy lives pretty close to the Carter Center, and she has a little boy, 2.5 years old. I get to see Hugo, who is already at 2.5, way above average. And I have to brag on one other grandchild. Our grandson, Jason, was in the Peace Corps in South Africa, graduated from Duke, went to the Peace Corps in South Africa. I came home last year and is in law school at University of Georgia now, but he's written a book about his Peace Corps experiences that was published by National Geographic. And it's going to be in the bookstores in June. I got my first copy yesterday, and I'm really proud of him. And the name of it is Jason Carter, and the name is Power Lines. I couldn't figure how anybody would buy a book named Power Lines. But what if when you read it, and I'm putting in a good plug for him, you can all buy it. But when you read it, you'll see that in South Africa, he says apartheid in some areas is as bad as it ever was. He lived in what was the old homeland where they moved all of the black people. And the power lines didn't stop at his village. But there's a lot of different significances to that power lines title. Well, I'm glad that I could bring Rhonda Talley with me, a native of Louisville. She's the director of the Rosalynn Institute for Human Development at our local state university, Georgia Southwestern State University. When we came home from the White House, Georgia Southwestern had a small endowment for a mental health program. Well, before I could do anything with them, with 1987, I think we came home in 81. And by then I had a really good mental health program at the Carter Center. So we started working with people who care for those with mental illnesses, or mental disorders. And it quickly spread to be a program for all caregivers, family caregivers and professional caregivers, no matter who they're caring for, or the illness, physical, mental, frail, elderly, and so forth. But what we learned was that so many people, and this was 1987, before many people were working with caregivers, so many people are lonely and isolated and don't know where to go for help. So many are suffering from depression, so many caregivers, burnout. And so we decided that advocacy for caregivers was really important to relieve them of stress and help them have better lives. And Rhonda is a wonderful director of the Rosalynn Carter Institute. I'm really fortunate to have her. If she's the example of how good Louisville people are, then you're all wonderful. Well, I became interested in mental health issues campaigning for my husband for governor. He ran for governor in 1966, was defeated that year. But there had been a big expose of our Central State Hospital in 1959, and by 1966, people were being moved out of the hospital before there were community services available. And everywhere I went, people would ask me, if your husband is elected governor, what is he going to do for my mentally ill relative, mentally ill family member, emotionally disturbed child? And so one morning I was standing at a cotton mill at 4:30 in Atlanta, shaking hands, and this woman came out who had on a dark sweater with lint all over it. She was a little woman, and I asked her if she was going home and get some rest. And she said, well, we have a mentally ill daughter, and my husband's salary does not help pay for this.